Hi, I'm Lisa Von Drasek from the University of Minnesota Archives and Special Collections. I'm the curator of The Curlin. Today, I have Tim Johnson, who will introduce himself, and we will be talking about a very interesting book and a very interesting family. So first of all, Tim.
I am Tim Johnson. I am curator of special collections and rare books and the E.W. McDermott curator of the Sherlock Holmes collections, the world's largest gathering of material related to that most famous detective.
And I hope someday you can come here and visit that amazing collection. It truly is. But Tim, that collection is on tour. Where is it now? Not the whole collection, just selections from it.
It is south of us. I'm blanking all of a sudden where it's at, but it will be here in Minnesota next year at the Minnesota History Center. They are.
Would that be next year, 2022?
2022.
Excellent.
Yes.
So don't miss the exhibit that shows some of the fabulous materials from
the International Sherlock Holmes.
There we go.
Exhibition.
The book you brought us today is?
Charles Lindbergh, a religious biography of America's most infamous pilot.
By
Christopher Gertz. Chris is a professor of history at Bethel University in St. Paul.
You know, when I see this cover and I hear this title, I actually cannot think of another religious biography that I've ever read. What makes a religious biography different from just a biography of Lindbergh?
Well, a religious biography focuses on kind of their inner life, their spiritual pilgrimage, the kind of things that you don't maybe see or hear about in the newspaper or the regular history books. This is the other side, another facet of a person, who they are, what makes them tick.
And when I think of religion, I think of an interior journey.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of Lindbergh, I don't actually think of the famous pilot. I think of Anne Morrow Lindbergh. Does this discuss their relationship to a spiritual life?
It does, very much so. Anne was in many ways Charles's co-pilot. They flew together around the world as Charles and Anne were both working on mapping out new commercial air routes. But in the spiritual sense, she's the one that introduced him to things like literature and art and music, things that were outside his kind of a normal scope of aeronautics and science, and later on his concern with the environment. But that in some ways was triggered by Anne's interest too. So yeah, she's very much right there with him on this flight. Did
the loss of their son inform this spiritual journey?
I think probably so, but one of the mysteries of his spiritual life is he doesn't really dwell on that or talk about that much. There's a sense that it's always there in the background, but he's fairly quiet about that.
The title speaks to a religious journey. Is this a religious book?
No, I mean, you see these surveys for people who describe themselves as spiritual but not religious, so they're not identified with any particular
nuns.
The nuns, yes. So this is a biography for the nuns. This is
the non-affiliated.
The non-affiliated, the people who have an interest in spirituality but don't identify with any particular tradition. Lindbergh is pulling from everywhere, all kinds of traditions, Christian, Judaism, Buddhism, all over. It's very...
So the world of cultures informs his practice.
And Anne is a big part of that informing that helps him along the way.
If there was one thing you wanted to say about this book to hook someone into reading it, what would it be?
This is a side of Lindbergh that you have probably never or rarely seen. A side that gives you another sense of who this very well-known person was in a very unknown area of his life.
Wow, Tim, I can't wait to read this book.
It's a great read.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on Read This Book.